Shalom Havarim. Hello friends, this is Alicia, and I am here to help those of you out who want to know how to blow a shofar. Of course, those of you who know me, you know that I could blow a shofar. I have to say I cheat. Because I am a trumpet player, and that just makes it easier for me. So I went through all the trials and tribulations of learning how to produce a sound on an instrument before I picked up a shofar. But I think I can teach most of you how to produce a sound. Now, I don't expect anybody out there to be a concert quality trumpetist. That's not necessary. After all, we're told to make a joyful noise, and that's what we're going to do for Yom Teruah. So there are two kinds of shofars. The first one is a ram's horn shofar, and that's what that looks like. This is kind of a little one, and it's kind of the worst one you can use, the small one. If you could see how tiny that mouthpiece is, it's not very big, but you can still produce a sound, and it won't be the best sound, but you'll produce a sound. Okay, so that's a sound. I know the Chicago Symphony will not hire me based on that audition, but it is a sound. The other type of shofar that we use is called a Yemenite, and it's big. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. Let's see, it's like that. Yeah, that's where the noise comes out, and this is where the noise goes in. It's a bigger mouthpiece. And so the bigger the mouthpiece, the easier it is to produce a sound. So if you haven't bought a shofar yet, I do recommend you can get a Yemenite or you can get a ram's horn shofar. Just make sure that mouthpiece, that opening right there, is big enough to be suitable for your lips. Now, I've got fuller lips, so I need a slightly bigger mouthpiece. And that's what you go by as far as deciding whether you're a trumpet player or a trombone player or a tuba player. If those with fuller lips tend to not play trumpet so much, they tend to gravitate toward the bigger mouthpieces. So, but that's not to say you can't make a sound. So here on this shofar, this has got a little more of a trumpety sound. So it's more trumpy. Okay, so here's what this sounds like. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to produce a sound, and I'm going to use the Yemenite to demonstrate, just because it's a bigger mouthpiece and it's easier to see what I'm doing. I'm also going to show you using the top to a water bottle. Now, back in the day when I was playing trumpet, and we were told to always practice, even if you don't have your trumpet. What you're practicing is the buzz that you're making with your lips. And so we were told to get a washer with a large hole, and we'd string that on a string and wear it around our necks. So whenever we thought of it, we'd use it to make the buzzing sound. And what that does, the more you do it, the more your lips are acclimated to producing that sound and what it feels like to make that buzz. Many people, when they first try a brass instrument or try to play a shofar, right away they're like, oh, that tickles. Oh, that feels weird. And yeah, it might, for some people it does feel weird, but you get over it soon enough. Just the more you do it, your lips won't be as sensitive. So I'm using this pretty much so that you can see what my lips are actually doing. So, and if you don't have one of these, or a washer, or some kind of ring, you can also do this. And it still produces that sound. Okay, so whatever you have, you can work on that. So before we actually pick up the shofar, I'm going to show you what to do with your lips. Okay, so most people, when they play the shofar, when they blow the shofar, they don't blow right in the center. This is, I call it a buzz point. Right here in the center when you're going to play the trumpet, because you need, you just need it to be in the center. But for a shofar, traditionally it's played slightly off center. So just, you can see my incisors, I think those are incisors, my two front teeth, just to the outside of your two front teeth. And I play on the right side. You can play on the left side. That it doesn't matter. And for that matter, if you get a good buzz in the middle, by all means, that's your sweet spot. So you go for it. Okay, so I'm going to get a little closer here. Okay, so what you're going to do, read my lips. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the raspberries. You know how we used to do that, like that? Just do that. I'm serious. Go ahead and do that. Okay, I'll do it with you so you don't feel so weird around people doing that. Okay. Okay, so what you're doing is you're closing your lips, but you're not doing it so tight that air can't get through. So it's just closed and firm, and you're pulling back a little bit on the corners of your mouth, just like a smirk. And you're blowing air right through there. Okay. It's a little harder to do without something to help you control, but just try the raspberries. Okay. If you can get that sound, you've got a buzz to produce a sound on your shofar. Okay. So here it is with the ring. I'm going to get good up good and close here. Okay, so I'm going to go off to the side, because this is where the side is where your lips are the thinnest, and so they will buzz a little easier. And again, don't clamp down. Close firmly, but enough, flexibility that the air can come through. Okay, so here we are. See how my lips are closed, but when the air goes through, they open. Whoops, not good. Okay. I'm concentrating on the center of my mouth instead of the side. There we go. Okay, so it's the air forcing your lips open just a little bit. And as the air blows through, your lips are vibrating against each other, and that's what makes that buzz sound. Okay, so you can see the same thing here. And I always kind of wet my whistle a little bit just so, so your lips are more flexible. Dry lips don't buzz as well as moist lips, okay? And, and ladies, don't wear lipstick when you're playing a shofar. Number one, you'll get all that greasy stuff inside your shofar. And lipstick will stain your shofar. But lipstick also hinders your lips from vibrating properly. Okay, so here we are again. Whoop, that failed. Okay, all right. So that's what I'm going to do when I have the mouthpiece on there. Okay, so if you look at the mouthpiece and see if we can get it in the camera here. Okay, so you can kind of see that the mouthpiece is wider than it is tall. So it is an oval. I think you can all see that. Now, it's the same with our mouth. Our mouth is more like an oval, so you want that oval, where is it? There it is. You want that oval to be horizontal, to match the horizontalness, if that's a word, of your lips. Okay? If you have it up and down like that, it's not going to work. I promise you, you won't get as much of, as much real estate on that mouthpiece on your lips, okay? So you want it to be sideways like that. Now, some shofars are perfectly round or near perfectly round. So on those shofars, you can decide however you want, to place, the shofar. On a Yemenite, it's got that twisty thing. And so I tend to, when I decide, well, am I gonna play it that way, or am I gonna turn it around and play it that way? Well, what determines that for me is the end. And I want that shofar to be pointed up as much as possible, okay? So, if you have it pointing down, then the sound's going to go down. You want it to go up, okay? So I turn, for those of you who have oval mouthpieces on your shofars, I turn that end of the shofar, the business end here, or the effect, to kind of swoop up. See how it's swooping up? All right. Because you want that sound to be airborne. All right. So that's how I place it. All right. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to put it on the side. And I'm just going to do the raspberries. Now, one thing I will say, that if you're getting kind of a, this sound, that just means your lips are too tight together. You want it to flow freely. Also, it helps if you start the current of air with, and I always suggest, the letter D. Da, okay? So think da. Here we go. And it starts, you don't have a bunch of air as you're trying to figure it out. That's air before, at the beginning of the attack. You want a D attack, okay? So you'll actually say D with your tongue. Here we go. Sounds a whole lot better. And so you can use that D tonguing to play rapid fire notes. Okay, now you noticed I went up. The way you go up is a shift in the air current. Now that's a little more advanced than just playing a sound. I want everybody to be able to get a sound first, where it sounds good and clear. Okay? If it sounds kind of, I don't know, raspy, if the sound is raspy, it means your lips are too tight. If all you get is air, then your lips are too separated. So you want to find that perfect combination. Okay? And also attack with a D tonguing. Now, once you got that under your belt, and you want to change tones, and you could play several tones with, especially a Yemenite, the bigger the shofar, the more tones, we call them overtones, that you can play. So to demonstrate, okay, you're not blowing harder. What you're doing is you're changing the air current. So let's say my air current, let me use a pen, because that using a finger is just kind of weird. Okay, so imagine that pen is the air current coming out. And when it's straight out, you're going to get that middle tone. When you want to go higher, you're going to push your jaw forward a tiny bit so it makes the current go up at an angle. And it hits at it'll hit a different place in the inside of that mouthpiece, which will cause, in turn, it causes the tone to go up. Okay? And to get that third tone, even more, push your jaw forward like that. You look a little like FDR. Yeah. And so that, that'll give you the different tones. But that's more advanced. And if you're a trumpet player or a brass player of any kind, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just how you adjust your overtones by your airstream. Also, there's going to be a little bit of a tightening of the aperture. The aperture is the space between your lips. There's going to be tightening a little bit. You'll be pulling back, your smirk muscles, and that'll tighten it. And that helps, that combined with changing the air current will help change the tones that you play. So I would be very, very happy, and I'm hoping you would be very, very happy to just get a basic tone and be able to play it loud and proud and free, have it sound free sounding. Okay, so it's not raspy, it's not airy, but it's got that trumpet-like quality. So I'm hoping that helped you. And if you have any difficulties or any questions, go ahead and message me. You can message me, or you can just comment. Probably the best thing is to comment, because then I'll know where to look for your message. Okay, so just comment if you have any questions or any difficulties that I can help you overcome. Okay, so I guess that's it. That's Alicia's Shofar tutorial. And I'm hoping that helps you to produce a joyful noise as we are about to celebrate the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah, as some people call it, Rosh HaShannah. Whichever you call it, I pray that it is a joyful time and that you continue to look up, for our redemption draws near. All right. Thank you so much. Shalom, shalom.